1220 KHTS, your hometown station. It is the Prima Pediatrics Healthcare Hour. We are with Dr. Feldman from Prima Pediatrics. You can find out more information, primapediatrics.net, or give them a call, 424-9000. And we're talking about medicine then and now. We started talking about how polio is still a thing. And,
polio was a big thing. And it still is now. It's become a big thing again, in part because of the wars and in part because people have refused to immunize now.
Yeah, and people just, they which that one seems weird. Like, that one seems weird. Because I know flu shot, people are kind of let it happen type of thing. But polio,
well, there's a reason
polio's
for
kind
that.
polio's kind of we got it figured out. Okay, let's just go for it.
Yeah,
That's kind of a thing.
The problem is that a number of parents who will not immunize their children also don't believe in the larger society. There's the same people, and I don't mean to denigrate people who homeschool, because I think a lot of people who homeschool are very smart to do so, and for a lot of kids it's a good choice. But you find the homeschoolers are the people who don't immunize, are the people who are what we consider now to be cultural, but they're really countercultural. They're into natural medicine. They'll give their kids homeopathic drops for their earaches, but they won't take them to the doctor and give them antibiotics. They just don't trust government, and medicine is part of government in their view. And it's a case of paranoia gone wild. And unfortunately, it's one of those things that, just because you're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get you.
Yeah.
And how can you argue with a parent that's so paranoid about it when there are actual examples when paranoia is appropriate?
Yeah.
You have to somehow convince them that not everything is against.
Yeah.
It's very difficult.
Yeah.
People don't get it.
So we were talking about some of the, you got prompted to think about this from these ads that you've seen.
Well, my next favorite one is for Ivor Johnson revolvers. Are not toys. They shoot straight and kill. You may need only one once in your lifetime. Buy now so you'll have it at that time. Safety, hammerless, automatic, accidental discharge impossible, absolutely safe. And they show a little girl holding a gun saying, Papa says it won't hurt us. So there's another good one. There is no such thing as a safe gun.
Yeah, well, that's the point
Period.
of it. It's the point of it was not be safe kind of thing, yeah.
Well, that wasn't the point of that. They were saying it was fine.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Yeah.
There is no such thing as a safe gun. If you have children, you should never have a gun in your home unless you are a law enforcement officer and you have to, in which case, if you have a gun in your home, it has to be locked, unloaded, in a gun safe, with the only person having access to it being the grown-up in the house. And it should never be used when the child is present. So, don't have guns in your house. Don't have them in any way accessible to any child. And that, of course, involves and includes teenagers. As much as you think you can trust your teenager, and some of them are really responsible kids, they still don't have their prefrontal cortex yet. You cannot count on the most responsible teenager to be as careful as they need to be with a gun. Heck, you can't count on most adults being that way.
Yeah.
So you just got to be really, really careful. I have no problems with people owning guns. I have problems with people owning guns who do not know how to use them and to be safe.
And to be safe with them, which
and
is the
my
emphasis.
viewpoint is that the license for guns should require a full course of gun training and marksmanship that shows that the person has passed the test, knows what to do, and should not be allowed without the purchase at the same time of a gun safe. I'm not saying you shouldn't have guns. I'm saying you have to be responsible. So, we'll see. Anyway, so that's the next one. So now, the next one that I love is a great one. This is for Blatt's Beer, Blatt's Milwaukee. And this is, says, how mother and baby picked up. A case of Blatt's Beer in your home means much to the young mother, and obviously baby participates in its benefits.
Man.
The malt in the beer supplies nourishing qualities that are essential at this time, and the hops act as an appetizing, stimulating tonic. I love that one. And the funny thing is, like so many things from the past, there is a kernel of truth.
Okay. Explain
and the
that.
kernel of truth is that there are certain qualities in the hops, in the beer, that stimulate oxytocin, which is the milk letdown hormone. And therefore, for those women who are actually having a problem getting milk letdown, a very small, about 2 ounces worth of beer, is going to enable the oxytocin to be released. So I am not saying that anybody should ever drink beer while there's nursing, but I am actually saying that that is one of the things that a lactation consultant might suggest to you in a very small amount, once a day only, to stimulate oxytocin.
Is there other things that women can do, though, other than drinking beer? Is there
Yeah, they can use fenugreek, which
Okay.
doesn't cause a problem with their baby. Or better yet, and this is not so much good for those women who wish to go the, quotes, natural way, which would be to drink beer.
Yeah,
And
I
that
guess.
is you can get your obstetrician to prescribe some nasal oxytocin. You spray it in your nose and bang, you're letting down.
Wow.
Who needs the beer?
Yeah.
So, what can I tell you? But short of a prescription, occasionally that would work. But it is not a good idea to drink beer
Yeah, I would
when
say
you're
avoid-
nursing your kid.
I am not a doctor, but I would say avoid drinking beer while you're nursing.
I don't think you
Yeah.
should be drinking anything alcoholic
Yeah.
while you are nursing.
Yeah.
Now, if you want to have once a week a small glass of wine or a small glass of beer, you could do that right after you nursed your kid, and then you express the milk afterwards that can, about 2 hours later, that contain the alcohol. So there's no
Just get rid of
alcohol
it.
left.
Yeah.
Right. But it's not a recommended way of living. Not for somebody who's nursing their kid.
No.
And even if you're not nursing your kid, you don't want to get plastered. There's another good reason for that. Not in the least of which is that you won't be able to take care of your kid.
Yeah.
But it has been well shown that sudden infant death syndrome occurs much higher frequency in parents who are either A, obese, or B, alcoholic or have drunk a lot that one night, because what happens is the alcohol dulls their senses and they could actually what's called overlie their infant. They could smother their infant to death by rolling over on them and not realizing the kid's struggling to breathe underneath. So it isn't a good idea. No
Just avoid it.
alcohol when you nurse. Thank you very, very much.
Yeah.
But that's from then, and this is now.
Yeah.
Next one, which is really good. I love this one. Here it is. Let me just see. There were a whole bunch that we're going through, but here we go. This is one of my favorites. Own a Motorola, and you know you own the best. How television benefits your children. And, Leader and Tell shows how TV can mean better behavior at home and better marks in school. But you have to understand that this was from an era of TV when the biggest entertainment on TV was Howdy Doody and Captain Kangaroo and the
And it wasn't on 24 hours a day.
No, of course
either.
not.
Yeah, it
You
wasn't on
couldn't.
24 hours a day.
Absolutely
And yeah,
not.
socially there actually was it kind of brought families together because they would come together and watch
to watch the
whatever
TV.
show it was.
Right.
So it's a little bit different than it is now. So
Right.
certainly then and now it's a very, very
Very,
different.
very, very different thing. But we now know that TV does several other things. Yes, if you put your kids in front of educational TV an hour a day, A, it's not going to hurt them, and B, it might help them.
Yeah.
Like if you have them watching Sesame Street or what used to be Electric Company or all of these things where they're actually teaching the kids how to learn the alphabet.
PBS is a solid
counting.
choice.
PBS is a very solid choice. But even then, more than an hour a day for a young infant and more than 2 hours a day for anyone is too much. Because what television does, and this we didn't learn until about 5 to 10 years ago, is that it changes your brain waves. If you're watching for any length of time, it changes your brain waves and it puts you into the equivalent of a state of transcendental meditation, which sounds, cool. I can get nice, cool, and relaxed with that. What that does is it decreases your metabolic rate. So now, instead of going out and exercising, you're sitting in front of a TV. So the calories aren't being used. And you're getting 100,000 commercials for food, so you're snacking. And the food that you're eating not only isn't being used up because you're not exercising, but your metabolic rate has dropped. And so you're gaining more weight by eating exactly the same food that you would have eaten before. Not a good choice, folks. And not to mention the fact that these days on TV, there's a lot of material that's quite inappropriate for young children.
Yeah. Certainly.
And it's very inappropriate to plant your kid in front of the TV without you being right there with them.
Certainly.
So
times have certainly changed.
Times have changed.
From now and then. We're going to take a break. We're going to wrap things up on the Prima Pediatrics Healthcare Hour. I want to ask you something about then and now. And then I think we'll wrap things up on AM 1220 KHTS.
I'm making him laugh,
Prima
guys.
Pediatrics Healthcare Hour. Showing me her biking tans. Is that what those are?
That's my biking
There you go.
tan.
I got some biking tans there. Prima Pediatrics Healthcare Hour. Go to primapediatrics.net for more information. Quick traffic update. There is a traffic collision, Valencia Boulevard at Goldcrest, so right near College of the Canyons. It's between Rockwell Canyon and McBean Parkway. There was a big accident. 4 vehicles involved in an incident there. And causing some delays on the eastbound side. If you're heading back to Canyon Country, I know people are graduating today, so that's probably going to cause some issues. But Dr. Feldman joins us in studio, and we are talking medicine then and now. And there's one more that you saw on there.
This is one of my favorites.
It's pretty good.
It's got a picture of 2 kids playing and building a log house. And it looks pretty old, and it is actually. This was from March of 1885.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Cocaine, toothache drops, instantaneous cure, price 15 cents for sale by all druggists.
Man, 15 cents for cocaine? That's a from what I've
legal
from
then.
some documentaries that I've seen. That's a pretty good price. I've seen a couple.
Yeah,
of,
from 1885, that was pretty expensive then.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. Yeah,
1885, 15 cents was equivalent to about $150 now.
Yeah. Yeah, so about the same.
Yeah. But in the meantime, though, I mean, still, it was an excellent cure, actually.
Yeah.
It was fabulous for toothaches. And as late as the 1980s, which is well after I was graduated from medical school and in
1980s?
practice, yeah, it was in use in ear, nose, and throat doctors' offices. Even up to the 1990s, I think, it was one of the best choices for local anesthesia for any kind of nose procedures. They would install cocaine in your nose, and you'd have complete anesthesia. You wouldn't feel anything, and you'd kind of get a lift. And it didn't bother you that they were doing stuff to your nose because you couldn't feel it, and you felt pretty good.
That's funny. I wanted to ask you, how important is it? So, we saw those ads and stuff, and how important is it to, not only, know what happened then and now, but also, continue to move forward and learn and all that stuff? How
Well,
important
it is the most important thing you can do. I mean, there was an ad there for Thorazine for senile agitation, but here's the truth. You don't want to become senile? Continue to learn. You don't want to be left behind? Continue to learn. You don't want to be stupid and make poor judgments? Continue to learn. Learning is by far and away the most effective way to avoid aging and to keep your mind agile. And that is true for kids, and it's true for adults, and it's true for seniors, it's true for everyone. And the perfect example is what currently is the climate in medicine, where you cannot continue just having earned your certificate to continue to be certified. You have to be recertified. That means you have to keep up. You have to read the literature. Now, for me, it was never a problem because I'm almost a compulsive learner in a sense that, wherever I go, I've got a book in my hands. My kids always knew that. That's how they became readers, because if I was anywhere, I had a book, or a magazine, or a journal. I spent, my son reminded me this past week of the fact that, he always knew when I was taking my afternoon nap on the Sabbath, because I would sit there with a medical journal in my hands, holding it upright, and be sound asleep. So That's how I caught up on everything. If you go to the bathroom, you want to read a journal. That was me.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not expecting everybody to do that because I'm a little strange, but, which is true for everybody. But the fact is, you got to continue to learn, and you got to keep an open mind, and you've got to learn how to sift through facts. And that today is more important than anything else, because in the past you could really trust. You could trust, for the most part, for the news and for the things that were published to be reasonably accurate. It was the standard for that day. It is no longer the standard.
Yeah.
There is nothing filtering the information that's coming through, neither on the internet.
And it's coming from everywhere, too.
Not on the internet, not in the news shows, nothing. There are no filters anymore. So you cannot trust the information you're getting in as being true, factual. You've got to do your own research. You've got to look at it. You've got to look at everything with a slightly jaundiced eye. You have to look through. You have to look to the sources that are reasonably expected to be accurate, and you have to look at all the information. That means you have to be a lot smarter about filtering yourself. These days, unfortunately, the larger population, at least in the United States, are not learning to filter. That's one of the things that our schools are not doing. So be best off by reading as much as you can, learning as much as you can, but also being critical in your evaluation.
Excellent. Thank you, Dr. Feldman. We have about 10 seconds left. That was perfect. This has been the Prima Pediatrics Healthcare Hour on AM 1220 KHTS. We will see you next month. Thanks, Doc.
Hey, Doc.